Hey y'all. So, Josh Kroger here, and I just wanted to talk about the Avatar re-release that was just put out for a limited 2-week stretch. And the difference this time is really only that James Cameron remastered some scenes in 4K, and he had a higher frame rate in some scenes. And supposedly it was also being marketed as having higher, better sound too. Now, I went with my brother last night. I had seen it before, including several times on home video, after it was originally released in theaters back in 2009. That theatrical experience was amazing. It was very richly impressive and just really immersive. And the 3D, unlike so many other movies where they do a film in 2D and then they do a 3D post conversion. So for example, Thor, you'll have him throwing his hammer right at the screen, but those kinds of shots are only because they want to have the 3D effect. And it falls flat because it doesn't serve the story, really. This movie, as you all know by now, it's been 15 years, so you've probably seen it, is built from the ground up, the 3D technology by James Cameron. It was 20 years in the making, and he also applied motion capture technology to all these actors like Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana and Sigourney Weaver, everyone who basically was an Avatar or a Na'vi, whatever. So, yeah. My brother James had never seen it before, but he really liked it. And yeah, there was definitely an entertainment value to it where I found myself enjoying it more than I remembered. But maybe that's just because it's been so long since I've seen it. It really didn't drag too much, especially in the first half. I think in the second half it kind of drags a little bit in places, a few spots. But overall, I still have the same pros and cons that I did back then. It's actually quite an enjoyable movie. And the 3D, like I said, it serves a story, so you have the two main characters in the middle of all these vines, and then you have the jellyfish things. I don't remember what they call them. And then those are in the background initially, but then they start floating up towards the screen, and when they come at you, you're not like, oh man, that was such a gimmick or whatever. So I thought it was good. And even for the first half of the movie, I actually enjoyed the purposefully larger-than-life caricatures that were those two main antagonists, the Stephen Lang and The other guy whose name I can't remember, but he's introduced playing putt-putt golf or whatever into his coffee cup. And I swear, the most hilarious scene, the best shot of the entire movie, is when you have the colonel, when they're bombing the hell out of the natives and their tree and everything. He's on the bomb run and he's sitting there sipping back on his coffee. Like, that is just so good. So then they turn into a full-on like sadists in the second half of the movie, and it's there that you get some really impressive action scenes. And of course, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Lord of the Rings scope and scale, that kind of thing, and sometimes even the intensity. Like, I forgot how horrifying some of these deaths, especially of some of the humans, were, and how violent it all got. But really, it's more comparable to Star Wars in that it takes place in this beautiful other world with all of these like floating mountains and everything. And gosh, you know who you are, but it's at least worth seeing once. And if you're put off by the preachy messages about anti-consumerism and like how corporations are evil and all that stuff, which I was certainly put off by it, and so was my brother. But for the most part, it's an enjoyable time, or at least it's a good nearly 3 hours of time at the theater, and it never really felt too long. That was the other thing we were talking about afterwards. So that was good. And will it change your life? No. But if you like need a refresher, like jog your memory for when the new one comes out this Christmas, you might want to go back and revisit Pandora. And side note, I forgot how funny Sigourney Weaver was in this movie. And yeah, so that's about all I have. I had once again, pretty good time. The heavy-handed kind of propaganda definitely does detract from it, but the motion capture and the effects and everything, which I actually didn't know up until this morning when I looked it up, they actually won the special effects award for that year, and along with like best cinematography and one other thing, but they were basically all related to visuals and everything. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the re-release. And I just gotta say that James Cameron is a financial genius. Someday I hope he stops making these and gets back to honest, really good storytelling that he's so good at, that he's become so famous for, and that we loved from like Terminator and Aliens and even Titanic, where we got emotionally invested. So there you go. Josh Kroger signing off, just like Jake Sully in the movie.